If you told a FE player that we were going to be getting Null Follow Up Sacred Seal before Vantage, Desperation, or even Pass, they would have laughed at you, but this is a reality which is going to be happening in the upcoming Tempest trial this month. So Null Follow Up Sacred Seal is going to be available, and it's of course an infantry locked Sacred Seal. It just functions the same way as Null Follow Up in the slot B. And in this video, I'll be discussing the various uses and the combos that you can do with it by running it in the Sacred Seal slot. Now, it's worth noting that some of these skills have really good synergy with this, like the sweep skills for example, and you can also run the damage reduction skills a lot easily. But there are also Sacred Seals that you might be trading off in the process. So you are going to be missing out on some stats if you don't really run these Sacred Seals. So you have to think about the trade-off. And even though Null Follow Up Sacred Seal is really good, now, as insane as the sentence sounds, but for some units, they really want to get that extra offenses to get those kills. So these Sacred Seals are going to be the trade-off, so definitely keep that in mind. And you can also give Null Follow Up from other sources like Drive Null Follow Up, Infantry Speed Tactic, and Fallen Lilith, of course. Keep in mind that the Null Follow Up status is erasable by Duo Thor, and the Null Follow Up status is actually speed-based Null Follow Up compared to the Sacred Seal, which is the straight-up Null Follow Up. So here are some of the important things to keep in mind, and now with that said, let us jump into the meat of the video. So I will not be able to cover every single, hundreds of Null Follow Up infantry units, but this video is going to be giving you ideas of how to best use this for some of your favorite units. Dimitri on the thumbnail is just not for the show. He is easily one of the best users of the Sacred Seal, and Dimitri fans are eating well. So Legendary Dimitri has Atrocity, and previously he did require Null Follow Up from some external support, but now he can be self-sufficient. And Attack Speed Finish is also a new skill which the Halloween banner brings up. Fallen Dimitri is definitely not as used as all of the other Dimitris, and he kind of fell off for me personally in Aether Raids offense as a Gale Force Initiator when Medius came around, but Null Follow Up does allow him to quad attack just a lot of units, and he does have Murderous Lion giving him the Fire Sweep effect and essentially the Canto, so that could be useful if you're a big Fallen Dimitri fan. And then finally, the latest Brave Dimitri can also run Null Follow Up at max investment or high investment with a speed stacking build, so this allows you to just stop any kind of auto follow up attacks, which is going to be making it really annoying for the opponent to kill Dimitri, and it also allows him to get past the impact effects, especially with the skill that can give you the auto follow up. And you can easily retaliate back with Ruptured Sky, and Steady Posture is going to be giving you the guard effect, making it even more annoying for people to take out this kind of Brave Dimitri with his true damage reduction. We also have amazing nukes like Glittering Alm, and he did get really good remix and refine, which lets him bust a lot of far safe tanks, and now he can just run Water Sweep as well in his slot B so that he can also take out dragons. So he does have Wind Sweep in his weapon, and by combining this with the Null Follow Up Sacred Seal, you're going to be able to pretty much get the Omni Fire Sweep effect against most units as long as you can win the speed check, but it is going to be coming at the cost of missing some offenses with something like Blade Session, but this could still help you against a lot of distant counter dragons which have been popping up, and Duma is certainly one of them that is in this Halloween banner itself. Ascended Ishtar was in a really weird position, and now she can run Wind Sweep and Null Follow Up and quad attack without really getting counter tagged. She does have Tempo skill built into her weapon, so all she's missing is pretty much a special that can pierce through the damage reduction, as Deflect Magic is going to be something that is going to be stopping her. And if you have a favorite mage, then you can pretty much just run Wind Sweep build on them. Anyone can run Wind Sweep and Null Follow Up at this point if they have the speed, and Muriel is definitely an example of that. Moving on, we have Godlike Reflexes units like Flame Lane, of course, who does introduce this. So just imagine the new captain skill, Might of Myriads, which pretty much gives you +6 to all of your stats, and also you can retaliate back to any kind of unit regardless of their range. So in that environment, someone like Flame Tribe Lin or even like Legendary Dimitri, which I showed here, are going to be extremely powerful units. And Flame Tribe Lin is missing Null Follow Up, so she could get this with her Sacred Seal. And Rudger is definitely one of the better free-to-play users of Godlike Reflexes, so because of having Null Follow Up in a Sacred Seal, Shield Pulse becomes a lot easier to run, and a lot of units do prefer having Vital Astra, but not Brave Celica, because she also has the mini special spiral just like Flame Tribe Lin here, so she does like Godlike Reflexes, and she also has the special acceleration in her weapon. So she's another unit who can appreciate this, along with having Attack Speed Finish 4, which has good synergy with this kind of pre-charge special. You can also run this on mages who have Desperation built into their weapon, or I guess the dive bomb effect. So Monica is the latest one with that Desperation status, so you can just run attack speed Oath 4, and Glimmer easily is a one-turn special, so you can trigger this with your tempo skill on your follow-up attack. And Null Follow Up was the only thing that she was missing, so this is an option. For Luwin, you can just run the tempo skill now instead of running Null Follow Up here, which is really great. Brave Lysithea might seem a bit weird because she does have the auto follow up with her weapon, but keep in mind that against hardy fighter armors, she could struggle in some matchups, so Null Follow Up is mainly here to help you against those armored tanks. So Brave Lysithea, just like Ascended Ishtar, is just missing out on a damage reduction piercing special, but till then she can just run this Dragon Fang build. There are definitely a couple of free-to-play units who can make good use of the Sacred Seal. Marisa already has Time Pulse in her weapon, so it can pre-charge her Vital Astra, and that can have good synergy with the finish skill, and you can get even more healing by running the Bulwark skill. So this is going to be allowing you to heal up a lot of HP, especially with Marisa's high HP. That is going to be quite nice, and you can just get the Null Follow Up with the Sacred Seal instead of running that in the slot B. So you can just get the extra healing, and also the Obstruct effect. Muarim can also run that, and beast units don't really have too many options for slot B, so Bulwark is pretty much going to be the skill that you can run on them if you're going to be running the Sacred Seal. And they also have no way of getting damage reduction, so Speed Smoke 4 is going to be your option. Now Yenfei is a particularly very good example of using Null Follow Up in Arena as a free-to-play unit, because he really struggles even against green units like Plus and Duo Dogger, Plus and Ninja Corrin, which you're going to be facing a lot in Tier 21 Arena. So lull attack speed really helps him in that matchup, but the trade-off was that he would lose to auto follow-up units and E-Tree. But now with Null Follow Up Sacred Seal, he can face all of those green mages and still try and come out on top. And lull attack speed is going to be helping you so much against those kinds of buffed up units, and especially Duo Dagger, who really depends on the visible buffs for her weapon. So I would really recommend running this build on him, and this is the optimal build. And I guess you can also run Vital Astra, but it doesn't really matter, I guess, too much. You can just run a budget special as well. You can also run this with Velocity, which does have the Null Guard, and Female Shiaz is easily one of the better users of it, who can retaliate back with Vital Astra and do a ton of damage, and she does have the special acceleration in her weapon, so this is definitely possible. And again, the finish skill is going to be really amazing on a lot of these speedy units. Ascended Hilda came into the game with pretty much just missing Null Follow Up, and now she doesn't really need to run that in her slot B, so she can stack up the damage reduction with her weapon, Vital Astra, and also Velocity for whole of like 75% damage reduction. And you can also just hit so hard with Hilda, and she can also heal up the HP with the finish skill. Now, Fallen Ike is not exactly the worst candidate for this because he does have a healing special, and with the Unity skills and with the debuffs, he can definitely get a lot of stats. So he can run a damage reduction skill in his slot B and get the enjoyment of Null Follow Up in the Sacred Seal. You can also use this on some of your older favorites, like for a lot of people, Legendary Roy didn't get the best refine, but at least with the finish skill and Null Follow Up, you don't really have to change up his Spurn, which he got in his remix, so that is good. And finish skill does give you a bit more self-sufficiency and extra damage. And Null Follow Up is pretty nice because you can stack up the damage reduction with his slot C and slot B skill. And Vital Astra is mainly here as a damaging special. Legendary Corrin, even though she gets dunked on by Halloween female Corrin, can still run the finish skill and still run Null Follow Up so that she can easily run Shield Pulse and pre-charge her Negating Fang. And in a couple of months, Thrasir is going to be getting her remix, and she is also one of those units with the Desperation Tome essentially, so this can help her against the Brave Hector and Ascended Idun matchup especially. So Null Follow Up is going to be the best Sacred Seal that you can run on Aether Raids defense, Thrasir. And you can also use this in Aether Raids offense actually. So on Yuri you can run Lethality and strategically just have Lethality at 1 cooldown. So what this allows you to do is pretty much trigger Lethality on the second hit, which is going to be a lot of times outside of the Hardy Fighter damage reduction skill of many armors. And a lot of Brave Hectors are not going to be running some kind of guard skill if they run Far Save. So you can easily trigger that on your second hit. So that could be an option. So Disarm Trap and Null Follow Up are definitely a pretty nice counterpick option, especially with the support of Asker. And Brave Marianne is a pretty fun unit in Aether Raids Chaos and for Gale Force teams. So she is missing out on Null Follow Up, which she unfortunately has to replace with Wings of Mercy, but now she can have it back. And you can also do some interesting initiations with a high attack unit like Atlas. So you can just set up as a Wings of Mercy unit with Winter Bernadetta, And by having your Atlas in the range of Frenzy and Wings of Mercy units, not a lot of initiators can kill Medius, but it does have good synergy with Frenzy, which allows you to pretty much just quad attack most of the opponents. Compared to the Null Follow Up status that you can get externally, which is speed based, you can actually run this Null Follow Up Sacred Seal on a lot of slower units. Now, a lot of people at first might ask, why run Null Follow Up on a slow unit? And the answer is to stop the auto follow up attacks of the enemies and also to phase the follow up negation enemies. Now, if you are someone who has used Seliph a lot in Aether Raids back in the older days, then you know that the Seliph versus Resplendent Eliwood matchup is really common, and Seliph would come out on top because of running Null Follow Up. So you can actually run Null Follow Up on a Summoner Duels, Duo Chrom, and this can actually help you against someone like, Duo Duma, I guess. And Chrom does get +5 speed from his weapon, and he can also get even more speed with his Duo Button, so he can actually make a decent use out of Null Follow Up at the cost of losing some offenses that he could have gotten by running Attack Defense form. Seliph, my boy, is definitely one of those units who has been using Null Follow Up for the longest time with his auto follow weapon, but now he can have the Bulwark skill, get the healing, and also get the obstruct effect by running this as a Sacred Seal. And Basilio and a lot of the Axe units do have access to Seahorse Axe, which does give you the auto follow up as well. It's basically a bootleg Divine Tear thing, so it could be run on these kinds of units. Tina can have a wanton Draconic Aura that she could trigger on her follow-up attack, and this is going to be really good. You could also run this with like pre-charged Ruptured Sky so that you could trigger this twice in a combat. So this is definitely going to be an option with her, and you can also run this with a unit like Joshua, I guess, which some people are going to be picking up from the Hall of Forms. And generally I do recommend this build on archers with Whitecap Bow Plus, Attack Speed Ideal, the Tempo skill, and the Oath 4 skill. And now going for Tempo has been even better because we have Null Follow Up, which we can just run in the Sacred Seal. And Legendary Lyn also appreciates Null Follow Up, even though her damage output is not going to be as crazy as Legendary Alm. She can still function with this, and Laws of Sake and her weapon giving her more speed. Finally, we have some fun interactions. So for Aether Raids defense, I do believe that running Null Follow Up on your note is going to be quite optimal, especially, against someone like Summer Edelgard, so you don't really get quad attacked. And this can also help you against a lot of the auto follow-up Arcane Elutnir users if they want to go and initiate, Gale Force against your team. So Null Follow-Up is going to be helpful. And Ascended Celica is a really unique case because with the finish skill, she can get the healing, and with Noontime, she can just get the enough healing to stay in the miracle range of her weapon. So this is going to be really, really helpful with Speed Preempt, and you can just get Null Follow-Up from her Sacred Seal, and she can a lot of times just one-shot units with her Speed Preempt as well. So really, really fun build with the healing that you can get from the finish skill now, and also the new tools that we've got with like Speed Preempt and the Sacred Seal. And then finally, Fiarm is one of those free-to-play units that a lot of people have plussed and invested, and it seems like she finally has all the things that she has needed: this attack speed finish skill and also the Null Follow Up Sacred Seal. I hope now you have a better idea of how to use Null Follow Up Sacred Seal with some of the nice combos on your favorite units, and make sure to share this video with your friends if they are trying to run Null Follow Up Sacred Seal with their favorites. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like and a comment, help you tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using Super Thanks or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more favorite videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I wish YouTube sub boxes would show my videos as many times as we're going to be seeing the builds of many people with the new Null Follow Up Sacred Seal. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.